The coastal town of Marlowe was the kind of place that seemed forgotten by time itself. Its narrow streets were lined with weather-beaten cottages, their white paint peeling under the harsh kiss of salty sea air. The people who lived there spoke little to outsiders, their eyes shadowed by unspoken stories. At the edge of the town, perched atop jagged cliffs, stood the Marlowe Lighthouse, long since extinguished and abandoned. Its tall white tower leaned slightly, its beam darkened decades ago. Yet locals spoke in hushed tones about the lighthouse, not about its history as a guiding light for ships, but about the whispers that came from its walls, whispers that drifted with the coastal winds and unsettled even the bravest fishermen. Evelyn Carter arrived on a gray autumn afternoon. She was a history researcher, driven by tales of strange disappearances and ghostly sightings near the lighthouse. Her curiosity was insatiable, her spirit undeterred by warnings or superstition. She rented a small room in the town's only inn, the windows facing the restless sea. Every night, she listened to the waves crash against the rocks below, imagining the stories that the wind carried. Her goal was simple: uncover the truth behind the Marlowe Lighthouse and the dark secrets buried beneath it. On her first morning, Evelyn wandered down the cliffs toward the lighthouse. The path was overgrown with wild grass and thorny bushes. As she approached the tower, she noticed the door to the keeper's cottage nearby was broken and hanging open. The windows were shattered, and the air around it smelled of mildew and forgotten memories. Inside, she found remnants of a life abruptly abandoned. Old furniture draped in white sheets, rusted tools scattered across the floor, and a collection of weathered journals stacked haphazardly on a dusty table. She picked up the top journal, its leather cover cracked and worn. The pages inside were yellowed, filled with a spidery handwriting. They belonged to Thomas Marlowe, the last known lighthouse keeper who had vanished mysteriously 50 years ago. His entries spoke of stormy nights, strange lights on the water, and voices that whispered warnings he couldn't ignore. As Evelyn read, she felt a chill crawl down her spine. The final entry ended abruptly, the last words smudged as if by trembling hands. "They come for me tonight. The sea won't let me go." Determined to dig deeper, Evelyn decided to explore the lighthouse itself. The heavy wooden door groaned as she pushed it open, revealing a spiral staircase that wound upward to the lantern room. Dust motes danced in the fading light as she climbed, her footsteps echoing in the hollow tower. When she reached the top, the glass panes were cracked and clouded with salt spray. The beam, once a beacon of hope, was dark and silent. As she turned to descend, a sudden gust of wind slammed the door shut behind her. Evelyn's heart raced, the temperature dropped, and a faint mist began to swirl around her feet. From the shadows, a soft whisper emerged, almost a sigh carried on the breeze. It repeated, "Help, help, help." Startled but resolute, Evelyn followed the sound down the stairs, back toward the keeper's cottage. On the ground floor, a trapdoor she hadn't noticed before lay ajar, revealing a narrow stone staircase descending into darkness. The air was thick, with damp earth and salt. Her flashlight flickered as she took the first step into the underground tunnels beneath the lighthouse. The catacombs were a maze of jagged rock walls and narrow passages. Along the damp floor, she saw scattered fragments of seaweed and shells, remnants of a time when the ocean had crept inside. Her light caught the gleam of metal, a sea chest sealed with rusted locks. Kneeling, she pried it open with trembling hands. Inside, wrapped in oilskin, were bundles of letters and a small ornate box carved with symbols of crashing waves. Evelyn unfolded the letters dated decades ago. They told the tragic story of Thomas Marlowe and a woman named Isla, accused of witchcraft by fearful villagers. The letters revealed their forbidden love, cut short by suspicion and betrayal. The last letter, written by Isla, spoke of a curse laid upon the sea and the lighthouse, binding their souls forever. Evelyn lifted the carved box, feeling a strange warmth emanate from it. Inside lay a silver locket, its surface etched with the same wave symbol. As she held it, the lighthouse beam above flickered faintly to life for a brief moment, then died again. The whispers grew louder, turning to urgent voices pleading for release. Suddenly, the ground trembled beneath her feet. Water began to seep into the catacombs, swirling with spectral forms reaching out from the depths. Evelyn realized the lighthouse was not just a forgotten beacon. It was a prison for restless spirits caught in an ancient curse. Determined to break the cycle, she studied the journals and letters, piecing together clues that led her to the lighthouse's heart. She climbed once more to the lantern room, placing the locket beneath the cracked glass of the beacon. As the first light of dawn broke, the beam reignited in a blaze of brilliant blue. The spirits emerged from the shadows, their faces no longer twisted with sorrow, but peaceful. Evelyn watched as they ascended with the light carried away on the wind and waves. The storm that had threatened the town vanished, leaving calm seas and clear skies. The lighthouse stood tall and bright once more, a guardian watching over Marlowe. Evelyn left the town with a heavy heart but a promise to remember the voices that whispered beneath the lighthouse, voices that refused to be forgotten.